Good morning, everybody. How's it going? So today's episode is actually an episode I kind of already touched on in the beginning years of me doing these episodes, but I didn't fully dive into it, and I'm still not going to fully dive into it here, but it is a trigger, inspiration for me to do those base episodes, Latin 101 episodes for this now. I'm not going to do it this moment, but I will be doing it to come more soon here, because it's basically the life I've lived. I've constantly have kind of had to, in the past, live and kind of prove that the life I'm living is in fact real and reality, that I have forgotten how real it is. Meaning that because I've lived having to defend to so many people, the people in my life who end up understanding and knowing the reality that I go through, they start going through it. And it reminds me how real this is. So I just wanted to share all of this stuff with you guys because lately, like I said, I've been getting confirmations, and a lot of people are raising now to a way more conscious state that this stuff is starting to affect them in a way, just more, because as you open more and expand, everything expands around you. Nothing to be scared of. So my number one thing about this whole thing is there is nothing to be afraid of except for you yourself, because you need to understand that saying about there's nothing to be afraid of except fear itself. If you understand that everything comes from ourselves, that we are the ones that feed ourselves everything, you will understand that fear is actually something that you allow. Meaning that you are the one that creates these fear thoughts, and also the fear energy around you, you are the one that allows it to come into your being, or that you allow it to become your reality. Okay, so there's a difference there. You need to understand the difference between the thought realm and then the action realm, the physical material realm, what actually happens in the material realm. So there's a lot of things that happen in the thought realm, but in the thought realm, in the manifestation law of attraction realm, the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, it doesn't actually come into action unless you take action on it from the third physical realm. So that's something you have to understand. So in truth, each individual one of us, and I mean this, every single one of us, there is not one of us that this does not hit, has the power of free will and choice. Our power is free will and choice. And by our thoughts, by what we allow in our thoughts, is how things can affect us in the realms, okay? So if you don't allow anything, let's say you're just like, I don't allow any thoughts into my life except for the positive ones, or I only allow the thoughts that serve me well. Because to me, you can't always think that positive is the only way. That's the only thing about all of this. You don't want to go out of balance from too much positive or too much negative. The truth is the balance, and which is why I wore black and white in this, because it's about the balance of the duality, the dichotomy, which we'll get more into. My point being is we all have this power of free will and choice. So just by you saying that you don't allow, that's your boundary, that's your line. In the universal law, and this, I mean this, in the universal law, if you yourself decide from whichever chakra area that you do not wish for something in your life, it cannot affect you. But you need to understand, are you saying no, but somewhere inside of you, there's a yes going through? That is also still a yes. I'm sorry. Okay. So we have to understand ourselves, and that's why I call it solidarity in intention, because our intentions are everything. Our thoughts, our intentions are what allow things in life. Now, why I say intentions everything and why thoughts not everything is because so many times we can think things, and sometimes when we think something, the true core of it is actually different. And that's what I'm trying to say about, did you say no, but something in there said yes, okay? Or did you say yes and something in there said no? That's actually what's going to pull to you, is that true core intention. Now, This is also something that I learned, which I actually think is the most helpful thing I found, because when I was sitting there trying to, and okay, so when I talk about this, I want you to understand, I actually don't really have many dark thoughts anymore at all. And that's why I needed to be reminded to do this episode, because I'm fine, but I realize that the ones around me, because you need to understand that as you level up, when I say level up, I literally mean in vibration. And when I say that, please, no ego. This is literally just about energy, okay? And what you're vibrating at. And there's no better or worse. It's just what you're vibrating at. That's all it is. When you're at a certain energy and you're vibing at a higher frequency, the lower frequency that's trying to run the world at the moment don't like that, because they understand energy and ripples. They know the effect it has, and they know that as we vibrate higher, more and more can vibrate higher, which changes the frequency of the world. And that's just how it goes. There can be no other way. It's just the formulation of it all. So basically, they tried in our world that we live in, thinking the illusion is our world. We tried to live in that world, but that world that is actually a fear-based world that keeps you vibrating low. Whereas when you come into your own from the inside out and you start vibing this way, instead of vibing this way, thinking the world happens to you, but you vibe this way, and now you are the one affecting the world. And I'll do diagrams of that soon. It's one of the most amazing, beautiful things, though, because it really shows you how everything is energy. Point being, when you decide to do that, you're now the one affecting the world and everything around you, and it's your energy that is affecting that. So it changes everything. And our mind frame and our hearts and our guts, because we actually have more brains than you think, they are all the ones that tell us where we need to be. That's why it's about alignment of self, authentic self. And that's why when you are balancing out your chakras, when you're healing, there are a lot of dark voices that speak to you, okay? I'm not going to deny it. And the dark voices usually want you to kill yourself, or they tell you that you're alone. No one will understand you. It's usually all of the very damaging singular thoughts about yourself that are very negative and want you to physically harm yourself, or physically jump out in front of a car, spontaneously, or jump off of a building spontaneously, or harm yourself in some way. Where did that thought even come from? This is when you start understanding the difference in voices. At the same time, I'm not going to say that you don't yourself have a voice that sounds just like you, that tells you to do these things, and it's up to you if you decide to feed into believe these things. The saying about you decide what wolf you feed is very true. There's so many different voices that we hear within ourselves. It's up to you what voice you decide to build your relationship with, okay? I decided to build my relationship with all my loving guides. So basically, when I was very young, it was even before I became a teen, I actually said that the guides that I decide to listen to will be those of the most loving, highest, purest nature, with my best intentions at hand for the best possible potential future. And while I said that, it's also something I understood and had to learn was about the shadow and dark side, because there is no light without dark. And when you understand divine dichotomy and the realm that we're living in right now, the relative realm, the dualistic realm, you understand how much the light and dark are very much here, working together in succession, together constantly, okay? It's never one below the other, always. It's always constant, again and again, about, this is how we grow, the contrast. So it's about appreciating that. So I really find that when you learn to accept the darkness within yourself and love it, you actually become way more of a balanced being, and you choose the light. And to me, that's a very different. I'm not trying to say that people that are positive to not, continue your path if that's your path. Just know that everyone has their paths here, okay? They are the ones that seem to live the super positive, and there's the ones that seem to live the super negative, but know that each need each other to live their paths. And then I also believe that in truth, we're actually in a cycle here where more of us are actually balanced, and we're here to walk that fine line of balance, because that is the true essence of the all-being, and that's what I believe we're here experiencing. So my point being is, when you have any of those dark voices talking to you, we are able to transform them. My mom would probably say transmute them to the light if you want, because people that believe in the entities and the dark beings and all those kind of spirits and stuff, I'm not trying to say they don't exist, they definitely do. But when you understand the world I come from, which is very energy realm, while they exist, everything is energy in the purest form. And so we can come and look however we wish to, appearing to the eye, but in truth, our energy form is the pure form. So I actually talk to all of that kind of energy. That's where I exist. I exist in the pure energy essential place. And so when you're there and you start to see how things really are, nothing really bothers each other. We're all just existing, really. And so I just want you to know that the only things that have power over you are what you allow to have power over you. If you understand that you are yourself the most powerful being here, and only things in your life are what you allow to affect you, that is also what you will experience. And it's actually the truth. It's so the truth. I'm not going to say they're very persuasive for sure. You need to understand they're as persuasive as you are, as good as you are at speaking, as good as anything you have heard in life around you in speaking. They use those with, against you. You are your own greatest enemy and you are your own greatest hero. And it's up to you what life you decide you wish to experience, right? So what I'm trying to say is you can transform. So what I used to do is I had a hard time actually changing all of the words. So basically, I don't believe that you actually have to know all the words to change words. I believe everything's energy, meaning that words are energy, sound is energy, every single thing out of us, anything moment releasing is energy. Every little bit is energy to the tiniest God particle. You got to understand that, because even that particle is vibrating, and energy is vibration, all of that kind of stuff. And energy is everything, really. It truly is, to the core, everything. So when thinking about that, you don't have to speak the word opposite to give you the opposite to draw. You can literally just feel the feeling instead. I want people to understand that. That's why it's telepathy and all this kind of stuff, and that's why that form of communication is faster, is because you don't actually have to come up with the words to say it. This is taking time to create these words, whereas telepathy is literally you can give every single the feeling, the thought, every single thing describing in one clear boom, my point being is you don't have to be able to come up with the opposite words to draw the transformation of energy. For me, literally what I did was I just gave my boundary, which is for all of those negative energies, please accept them. So I don't avoid them. Okay. So that's another thing. I feel avoidance actually creates a different magnet towards it. Whereas I feel like if you accept it and then you hug it and love it and send it out again into your transformed energy, meaning accept all of that negative, take it in, and then take all of that negative and transform it into the positive that you wish to experience. To me, that just makes so much sense, because all you did there was take all the energy that you're sending towards whatever it is that you're fearing in the negative sense of what you wish to experience, and possibly drawing that to you, and taking that energy and transforming it, all of that, into the positive of what you actually wish to experience. Think about how powerful that is. All of the things that you thought could go wrong, all of that fear that you had, is now supporting you in energy. And within that energy is the acknowledgement of that fear, but still choosing to go forward in your positive direction. Just think of that energy within that. That is so much towards greatness, amazingness, and yeah, I think changes lives. I fully think it changes lives. And to be honest, I recognize more and more as I live how different my life really is compared to a lot of people in the world, just by all these the mind frame and switches and trusting alignment of self. It's a very different experience. And while it's slight in that way, meaning that I probably seem like I'm existing like a lot of people, it's actually quite different in many ways. The reality that I exist in is quite different than a lot of people, just by that. Because in truth, a lot of the things that people are experiencing, I don't experience anymore at all. And I can only help you like this, or unless you can see that I do. Because, anyways, the people in my life will talk to you guys about it because they've been talking to me about lately too. And I didn't actually realize. I've been told, though, how much protection is around me and the ones I love. And hearing some of the things that they haven't told me, it's quite interesting, is because I do know these times at the moment. I feel the energies, I hear them, and I didn't realize that they were affecting the ones that I love so much as well. So when you get into this, it's no joke, you know, those psychic attacks and a lot of this psychic warfare going on. It's no joke. It's for real. So if you have any of that, please realize that it's not yourself, okay? A lot of it can be your karmic lessons. A lot of it can be your past life, sure. But a lot of it is dark energies trying to sway you off your path. But in the way I look at it is they're trying to help you on your path, is because they're there and they're helping you to empower you to remember who you are and just how powerful we all are. Remember that, okay? So in truth, nothing at all can happen to you unless you allow it. And that's how powerful we are. And sometimes that's scary for people because a lot of people don't even like the power of choice at the moment. But you need to understand how amazing that power is. And I'll keep talking about that soon as well. Anyways, I love you all, and just honestly, you need to trust in, that's why you need to trust that you deserve things, and that's why you need to trust in the divine, is because you honestly only need to kind of put your boundary out once. You don't have to say it over and over again unless you believe you do, because in that also shows you the power of how far you think the power reaches, though, because if you feel like you have to say it over and over again, that shows that you don't think you're that powerful, because it's something you have to say constantly. Whereas if you put it all your intention into it once, saying that it's like this, bam, and that's it. You only have to say it once. That's how I live my life. I basically say the boundary, and that's for all of this until I decide that I want to change it. And then I just let go and I trust, and you just live life. So just know that if you decide that it's something you have to constantly think about and keep saying to your team around you, your energetic team around you, then that's what you will experience. But if you believe that you can just say it once and that's like for all time, or the time that you allot or decide, then that's also what it is. So remember, this is what creation and imagination is. It was all given here because we literally decide what our superpowers are. So anyways, I love you all, and I really hope that you experience better. Just know that as much power as that you give everything else to have over you, you have just as much power over them and yourself and everything. Actually more. We literally, when you decide to be your full potential, we are so freaking we're literally Goku from like Super Saiyan, like past Super Saiyan, anything they've got. His Ultra that he's doing right now with his silver hair, we're past that. Anyways, love you all. Good luck.